Hi there, I'm Karen Cook and I've been asked by one of my lovely subscribers to do a Scraproom tour. So it's been something I've been thinking about for a little while, but I thought I really needed to get this room tidied up a bit before I could actually do a tour. So that's given me the push I needed to get it done. So the room is as tidy as it's ever going to be, so I thought I'd better do it now before I start messing it up again. Just a brief introduction. This room used to be my oldest daughter's bedroom, and gradually over the years, as she went to uni and came back, I started using it when she wasn't around. And when she finally moved out about 4 or 5 years ago to move in with her boyfriend, I completely took it over, got it decorated. My husband decorated it for me, and I started making trips to IKEA. As you can see over there, quite a few trips to IKEA, because most of the furniture, in fact practically all the furniture in here is from IKEA. So I've now got it just how I like it, so it's ready to be viewed by you lot. There is a little twist in the tale which I will mention right at the end of my video and tell you what's going to happen next. So in the meantime, let's get on with the tour. Okay, so this is the view as you come in from my door. So I'll just have a quick pan round so you can see how the room looks from the door. It's a bit bright over there. There's a window over my desk. And there's a built-in cupboard over there. Back up a little bit and you can see right round back to the door. Okay, so now I'll go around in a little bit more detail. So the first thing you see as you come in is the sofa bed, which takes up a fair bit of room, but it's quite useful for throwing things on. I tend to use it as an extra surface, and also I can sit on it and watch the TV or do a bit of work on my computer. So it's really quite handy, but it's also useful because this room has to sometimes double up as an extra bedroom, especially around Christmas time. So it's useful to have a bed that can be converted for visitors. And above the sofa bed, there's these sets of shelves. On top is just some empty boxes. There's nothing of interest up there. And then the second shelf, there's some baskets. The one on the left has got flowers in it, packets of flowers. They're generally stuff I don't use very much. I think there's some empty boxes as well in that end one. There's not a lot up there that's of any use, which is why it's more or less out of reach. These little drawer units here, I get a bit closer. On top I've got my only 3 Sizzix dies. They're quite big ones, but they're the only ones I've got, so I'll just pop them on there. There's a couple of drawers here. This one's got packets of crystals, and this one's got some really old templates and brads and bits and pieces. This little unit here has got some really old bits of embellishments that I've had for years, which probably most of it will need chucking. So it's a cute little drawer unit my sister bought me many years ago, but I don't really have much in it that I use. These drawers have got silver, gold and multicoloured peel-offs. These are the peel-offs. So these are the silver ones. There's some lettering. There's all sorts of... Sorry, I'm finding it hard to keep the camera steady. So there's some lettering. There's all sorts of things in there, borders. This is stuff I mainly have used in the past for card making. Don't use them very much for scrapbooking. And on the top of this unit is my box of pro markers, as you can see just there. Sorry, just move along. And the basket has got some bits of packaging that I use for mixed media, and at the bottom is my little box of mini stamps, and then the box on the end has got felt in it that I don't use very often, but sometimes I often plan to make felt flowers and I don't very often get around to it. Sitting alongside there's a couple of cupboards on the wall. The top one has just got a load of rubbish in it, empty boxes and bits and pieces. This cupboard has got all my old photograph albums from before I went digital. There's a whole load. It's full of just old photograph albums. I went digital in 2005, so all my old photographs are now in there. And then below that there's a unit here with my printer on, and that's my charger for my spare batteries. Always got to keep a spare battery charged up for my camera. inside this cupboard, just move that out of the way. Oop. There's a lot of boxes of photographs in here. These are photographs. They're either old ones of my mum's or old ones that are loads that I've printed. Lots that I'm waiting to scrap, probably will never get around to. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. There's a couple of books on scrapbooking. All sorts of... It's a bit of a dump cupboard, but it's got all my spare glues in the bottom there that are too big to go in my glue cupboard or my glue drawer. This here, this is my little, I think you call it a Fibonacci. It's what I use as a traveller's notebook, and it's really pretty, and I've made my own inserts, so there's one still in there. Let's just have a, so I can open it. Whoop. This one, have I used this one yet? Yes, I've used this one. So I've made 3 of these little traveller's notebooks, or inserts for this traveller's notebook that I use, and then I can just put the one in that I want to use for the current holiday, and I take that with me, and that's what I use to keep all my holiday notes. So I really love that. It's so pretty. Can you see that? Really pretty, that. So that's that, and I keep that in there. Okay, so this is my Kallax unit. I've got 2 4x4 units. Was it 2 4x2? So it's 4x4 altogether. So if you look on the top, there's a picture of my lovely mum. Lost her 5 years ago, but she sits up there and keeps an eye on me. She's where I got all my crafting from, and her mum before her. She used to do all sorts of things. She used to make cards, do knitting and crochet, and yeah, she's definitely the one that got me into all my crafting. So the first cube has got albums in it. So there's some Christmas albums. This is an empty one. This is the one I'm going to be using when our little one arrives. This is really cute, and I'll put a picture of her obviously to replace the one that's come with it when she finally turns up, which could be any day now. In the second cube, these are a variety of dies. There's a bunch of dies here, and also there's a few embossing folders as well. I don't have many embossing folders, but so I keep some of my dies, some of my larger dies. I've got another place where I keep smaller dies. And just lurking behind here, if you can see, is a little tiny sewing machine which I bought from a charity shop last year, and I've never actually had the courage to use. And going down, these are some magazines. I bought a load of scrapbooking magazines years ago, and I can't quite manage to part with them. This one is a load of stuff to do with Christmas. There's some Christmas shiny card and a few Christmas card kits and all sorts of bits, all stuff around Christmas. So I tend to dip into that if I'm making Christmas cards and things like that. But otherwise, I think a lot of these magazines are going to have to be chucked before very long. And then at the bottom, in the little bottom cube down here, I've got a couple of boxes. This is my scraps box, or my small box of small scraps. I have another box with larger scraps. So, whoops, you can see in there a whole pile of pieces of paper that I keep. And underneath there's a box of really old stamps, some old wooden stamps and some freebies that I got in magazines and things like that. So I just shove them under there. Occasionally I have a look through them. Don't use them very often. And going down to the bottom next to the next one, that's called a creative station. Creative station. It's from Xyron, and it's like a giant sticker maker, but it's about 9 inches across. And these are some of the cartridges that come with it, as well as using it for making adhesive on the back of paper. You can also laminate things, and I think I've got the laminating cartridge in there at the moment. Again, it's something I've had for a long time, don't use very often, but every now and again I'll pull it out, and I recently did a little bit of laminating. So that's the creative station. And then the next one up, I've got a couple of little baskets. This one's got plain card scraps, and at the back is a whole load of Christmas cards that I always keep each year, and then I make my Christmas labels with the old cards. So that's in there. This is just some scraps of card. They're quite handy for punching things out of, like that. Okay, and then moving up. This is a recent purchase, this drawer unit, and I've used this for my mixed media. It's quite tricky to open because I think it's quite heavy inside. The top one seems to come open all right. Just don't want it to tip. So in this box I've got some small, some shimmers, spritzes, things I got from Hip Kit Club kits, and here's some paints that came in a Hip Kit. So there's some acrylic paints. I'll get it back in there. There we go. So yeah, so there's just a few small tubes of bottles of things. Then the tubs of, I think there's some gesso here. There's my modelling paste and the glass beads. And these are the two tubes of texture paste from Heidi Swap, gold and silver. And in this little box I've got some Nouveau drops, and these are shimmers, pearlescent PVA glue, so they're pretty coloured glue, so you can make glue dots with these as well. So they go in there. Now the bottom one's a bit tricky to open one-handed. So this is the big one. So this is all my the Heidi Swap colour shine bottles, and a whole bunch of the Dilutions ink sprays. There's a bit of gold Heidi Shine. So all my mists and sprays are in this box here, and these are all acrylic paints. Most of them I inherited from my younger daughter from when she was at school, and I thought they were nice bottles of paint and I didn't want to get rid of them. I haven't used them much, but they're there if I need them. And so that's that one. Then the next one up is, this is the top one, and this is my stickers. So this box here, it's a bit too close now, this box has got a variety of stickers, quite a lot of puffy stickers. They're all in there. And this one here, it's a magazine rack, but I've got all my taller sheets of stickers in there, a whole selection of stickers in there, and a few bits in between, foam pad and notepad. That's where I use that when I want to work out what I want to say in my journaling. If I want to say anything in particular, sometimes I write it in there first, work out what I want to say, and then I can transfer it across onto my scrapbook. This is my favourite one. This is my papers. It's just the one cube with papers in. Well, no, there's two, I suppose. This one is divided into, on this side is all my kits. So there's two completely unused hip kits here, which I haven't broken into yet. And then there's two or three that have been partly used, and I'm still working my way through them. And there's a few really old kits from Scraptastic that I've still got bits left of, and I can't quite bring myself to break them apart. Where are they? This one is the Sweet Child of Mine kit, and I'm adding to that still because I'm going to use a lot of that stuff for the new one. And this is a very old kit which has still got quite a lot in it. When eventually there's very little paper left, then I will break the kits apart, but so far there's quite a few I haven't done that with. And then a few that I've made myself. There's a Halloween kit that I put together. There's a summer kit that started as a kit that I bought and I'm still using as a summer kit. It's my Canada kit. There's not much in it because I've got a box with a lot of stuff in for Canada. Sorry, did I drop that down? That's the Canada kit. There we go. And then there's I suppose this is it's like a magazine folder, but I made it myself out of a 12 by 12 because they don't come big enough normally when you buy them to take a 12 by 12. So that's where I put all my spare bits of paper, my odd bits that I've bought over the years. Oh, some of these are so old, but they're there if I ever want to go through them. Then I have a 12 by 12 box of 12 by 12 sticker sheets. So there's a few in there. And then these are collections that I bought. So at the start there's a couple of Simple Stories collections. Then there's some Cocoa Vanilla. They're really beautiful. Bohemian Dream, really gorgeous. I love a bit of Cocoa Vanilla. I've got a One Canoe 2 collection. It's not the whole collection, I just buy the bits that I like the look of. Some Dear Lizzie, some Carter Bella. There's a Pebbles one. So yes, there's a few collections or collection kits there that I will use as and when. So next down I've got some albums, and then below that there's a couple of little built-in drawers. The top one is just a whole bunch of mostly tissue paper, a few other layering bits and pieces. See those? Some really pretty stuff. There's a bit of vellum there. So that's a bit of mainly for layering stuff. And this is my adhesives drawer. So there's my little Xyron sticker maker, and a whole load of tape pens and spare glue. Yeah, so all basically load of glue down there. And then at the bottom, more albums. Okay, this little section there's a whole bunch of paper pads on the left there. And then in the middle, or more or less in the middle, is all my white cardstock. So I've got some unopened packs. I was trying to disentangle my hand from my camera strap. There we are. So this is all white cardstock. Then there's some scraps of white card in this box, and then this is a 12 by 12 box, which has got, if I can pull it out. This has got a load of larger sized paper scraps. I won't get it right out. This is where I keep it's quite full. I really need to start using some of these. But that's when I can't get the scrap into my little box, they go into this big 12 by 12 box. And there's quite a lot in there. And on the end here, this is for my embossing machine. That's my embossing plates and cutting plates at the end there. And then this unit here, there's got my masks there, and there's some white A4 card, just quite useful for cutting smaller pieces. I don't always, if I want to cut a label or do something on the something smaller, I don't necessarily want to waste a big piece of 12 by 12 card, so I have some A4 card for cutting things up. And this is my bag of bits of foam. Yeah, just tucked in there. Something stopped it going back in, and obviously there's a blockage. This basket here, at the back, it's a load of stamps. I put them all into Avery L pockets because I find that looks quite neat, and then I've just labelled them all. It's a jam jar or a mason jar one. So they're at the back, and then there's a few ephemera packs at the front here. This is Oasis, Simple Stories, So Fancy. Some of them I've kept in their collections, but a lot of them I've now put in put in boxes and by colour. This is open book. It's just got so much. I've just kept it all together because it's quite difficult to know where to put it with all the coloured ones, because it's such a different colour look. There's such a different look to those ones, so I've kept them together. And there's some Vicky Booten ones. They will eventually be probably relocated at some point. And then this is another homemade. I made quite a few of these out of delivery boxes, I suppose, to put things in. I think these are packs of. There's a chipboard shapes. A lot of these, which I don't really use very much. But the main thing I use is this. This is my bag of doilies. This is one of those freckled form bags. and I just pop it in there to keep it together. So that's in there. There's some more albums at the bottom, the next one down, and then in this fabric box at the bottom here, ooh, this is my bag of ribbon, or my box of ribbon. Sorry about the dangly strap there. So years ago, I was in a club where I subscribed to get monthly bags of ribbon, and they came in these little muslin bags, or organza bags, I suppose you call them, organza. And I got them for several months, for quite a long time, got loads and loads of ribbon. So I ended up with enough bags to store them by colour in the end. So this is all blue. And now I've still got loads of them left, but I don't use them an awful lot, but one of these days I always think I'm going to. And there's also there's a bag of baker's twine in there, which is what I use far more often in there. So all my ribbons are in there. They're not causing me any trouble. They stay out of the way nicely, so I'm not getting rid of those yet. Right, so that's my Calyx unit. Just step back and you can see the whole thing. If you can see it, whoop, go back even further. There it is.